Now, I'm gonna mention all these rotations depends on big factor. So big, heads up ahead. For all these rotations, it's really crucial, like really crucial to have correct ER. If you don't have correct ER, all this gonna drop into a water. Cause that means you're not gonna get the liberation on time, you're not gonna be able to do the rotations, and then you're gonna waste time getting filled up the liberation of any character. So usually for every DPS character in the game, usually, not all of them, I've keep that in mind, you would need around 120 ER, usually, right, for smooth rotations. There is, some stuff that, like, for example, Jinshi Liberation, its cost is 150. That means that you need at least 140 ER, which is, like, why the fuck for DPS you need 140 ER? Well, I don't know, either Ascuro, right? Then there is, for example, the newest DPS, Augusta. Usually it says here 125, her cost is 125, but usually you want to have 130 ER for smooth rotations. So keep in mind that every single DPS in this game needs to have ER and the support too, right? So Lupa, for example, Lupa can work on 110 ER, but the best ER, is 130. Then you got Zeji, Cantarella, all the other sub DPSs, which you would prefer to have them on 140. Same things applies to Yilin, 140 ER for smooth rotations of the sub DPS. If you don't have that, you always gonna struggle with the rotations, with damage. So keep that in mind. This is a really important factor in every rotation you do in the game. Every single rotation having enough ER. I cannot say how important ER is for the rotations. So yeah, most of the new players actually just they don't bother with ER. They don't bother because they think it's not that important. But the first factor in doing any smooth rotation is having enough ER to get the liberation of the character, right? Weapon is important for every character, especially if it's your main DPS. Like, I would not play main DPS if I don't have its weapon. Next team I can showcase on my account is, I can showcase, I guess, Cartethyia, but I don't have Chikona. The only thing I can showcase with Cartethyia is Aero Rover, Cartethyia and Sanghua. I guess we can check that out. I guess I will show it for the people, so they understand how is to play Cartethyia without Chikona. It's absolute ass, I'm not gonna lie. Playing Cartethyia without Chikona, it's absolute ass. The team looks something like this: Aero Rover, Cartethyia and Sanghua. This is what people usually play if they don't have Chikona. You can put Verina here and Aero Rover in the third slot, but usually people play Rover, Sanghua and Cartethyia. You can use Verina too, I guess. Not a lot will change, you only get 50% amplification bonus and some healing. Sanghua gonna buff basically, and I think actually Sanghua is better. Especially if you play Sanghua on the Moonlit, then that means you're gonna give a damage bonus to Cartethyia. So again, start with Cartethyia, apply some shit on them, and this is where Aero Rover shines, right? Being absolute useless. And I fucked up. Sanghua. And basically just do the rotation. And now this is very changes considering having Chikona or doesn't have Chikona. So right now you wanna go back to the small form of Cartethyia when you don't have Chikona, because you need to reapply the arrow dots on the enemy. So that's the only reason why having Chikona is a big difference in the case of Cartethyia, right? again, apply the buffs. Bro, I hate Arrow Rover so much. I can't guys tell you how much I hate Arrow Rover. So, same rotation. 1, 2, 3 basic for Cartethyia, I mean 1, 2, 3, 5. Hold charge. Press E, press liberation to small form. Dodge this shit, apply more dots. Switch back to big form. And do the rotation again, I guess. That's basically the suffering you need to do if you don't have Chikona, basically. That's about it. I don't like this team. That's why I avoid playing Cartethyia a lot, since it's pretty bullshittery. If you really wanna properly play Cartethyia, I suggest you pull Chikona. So yeah, that's about it. Usually, I would say start with Chisle. So Chisle, Cartethyia, and Cartethyia, Chikona. This is right now the premium team. Anyway, this is right now considered the Cartethyia team. You basically kick the Arrow Rover out of the team, so you wanna slot in Chisle. So basically, when I was testing this team, I usually started with Chisle to Chikona, then Cartethyia, right? Anyway, I usually start with Cartethyia, getting some stacks on the boss, right? Back to Chisle, press her skill, press her liberation, basically get Chisle forte. Chikona, use E, get her forte, hold basic and press liberation, and this should be the whole rotation. Now Cartethyia, she's already ready, and this is the fast rotation that you don't wanna waste Chisle outro. So you don't wanna go back into the small form when you're doing this rotation, because you're always stuck up, and basically this is it. So with Chisle Chikona, you don't go back to the small form, right? That's basically it. That's the whole rotation, right? So again, start with Cartethyia. Prepare her stuff. Chisle, press her skill, press her liberation, and build up her forte. Chikona, get her forte ready, her liberation, back to Cartethyia, and switch to the big form, right? Pretty simple. As long as you know how to play Cartethyia, this all makes sense, right? And that's basically it. The whole rotation, right? Anyway, so to sum it up, start with now I'm just gonna sum it up. Cartethyia, basic attack 5, press E, plunge, switch to Chisa, do skill Chisa, do liberation, fill up Chisa forte, press enchant Chisa skill, do the rotation, switch to Chikona. You get on Chikona you got 3 stacks of forte. You get one immediately. You get second one. No, you get one on intro. then you get second one, then you press her E, then you do few basic attack, you get the third stack of Forte, then you hold Chicona heavy attack to consume the Forte and press her liberation, go back to Cartethyia, she gonna do the intro, and you're gonna have 3 swords, then you just press E, plunge and do liberation of Cartethyia and just do the rotation. Pretty simple, right? So, for Phrolova main DPS, it's pretty simple. You wanna Shorekeeper, Phrolova and Cantarella. You can mix and match some teams, but this is the best team. So, pretty much, this is how you wanna play it. So, I usually, when I play Phrolova, I always start with Phrolova rotation. So I switch to Phrolova, I do her stuff, get to her Forte, right? Now hold it and press her liberation. And now I start the proper rotation with Shorekeeper, right? Now I switch to Shorekeeper while the Phrolova is still fighting. Back to Cantarella, press E1, press liberation, hold left mouse button for heavy attack, to enter her Forte, and back to Phrolova. As you can see, Phrolova is pretty fast as long as you play her correctly, and this is the whole time on the field. As long as you know you don't miss any stacks. There is a lot of cases when I had to dodge to miss the Phrolova stacks, but in the tower you don't care, you can actually get hit because the enemy then don't do a lot of damage anyway. So same thing again, back to Cantarella, and just do the, simple DPS. I'm out of buff area, but that doesn't matter. And back to Shorekeeper. As you can see, this is pretty much a really good team. There's a lot of people call it the best in the game. Maybe yes, maybe not. I do like it a lot, but this is a lot of investment, not gonna lie. I missed one stack, as you can see. This is what happens when you miss one stack, then you wanna waste 2 more seconds to get the stack. But yeah, this is pretty much the best premium team in the game right now. Lot of investment, but it will show great results, right? Now, there is one other team that people, since Chisa came out, people keep using Chisa, Phrolova and Cantarella. I will show up this team too. You can go to your account. Same thing again, I wanna start with Phrolova. That's how I like it. Always start with Phrolova. It's just free damage before you do the rotation, right? And she already cleared wave 1 anyway. And then back to Chisle. Use her skill, use her liberation. Fill up her Forte, press E and hold it. I love Chisa animations, but she's so useless. I swear, Chisa has got so good animation, but damn. Anyway, this team works too, as you can see. Fill up her Forte, press E, hold her basic. Pretty fast team overall, I would say. if you play everything correctly. You don't need to care about Shorekeeper Liberation Circle. You just pretty much do your rotation. Pretty smooth, pretty straightforward. I think I just saw 200k on Chisa, not gonna lie. I think I just saw 200k on Chisa. But yeah, as you can see, pretty good team. I think Shorekeeper did a little bit better, that's about it. So yeah. Galbreana is here. Okay, not gonna lie. I have issues with Galbreana, not gonna lie guys, so I will show it, but yeah. So usually how I like to play Galbreana, I always start with Galbreana. So I always start Galbreana and I pretty much fill up her forte, her blue forte, right? I fill up her blue forte. And then I switch out to Shorekeeper and then just do the rotation of the Shorekeeper, right? So, Shorekeeper, get that liberation. And now when I'm at the bamboo guy, I press her echo skill. Now I hold his heavy and I just keep smashing. Bro, he sucks balls. I got hit in the air. That's skillish on my part. And then Galbreana again. I do one dodge. And then I press her liberation. Then I press her enchant skill. And I immediately go into her enchant skill. And now, same stuff. Fill up her blue forte again. And switch to Shorekeeper. And repeat the process. Pinjan. And back to Galbreana. This is pretty much the rotation I like to use. And that's about it, I would say. Brich. I hate Galbreana, oh my god. But yeah, basically that's the rotation that I like to use with her. Now some people do like this team too. So it's Phrolova, Galbreana and Queen Jan. You wanna start with Phrolova, of course, Queen Jan and then Galbreana, cause Queen Jan gonna buff Galbreana more than Phrolova, right? So you always wanna start with Phrolova. And I missed one stack. Don't question it. Liberation, back to Queen Jan. I forgot Galbreana stacking, so we're gonna do that. Brich. Oh, poor Queen Jan. And back to Galbreana. There is some tech with Queen Jan that you can actually do, so you avoid damage. I'm never gonna learn it, cause let's be real, I'm never gonna pull him, nor do I care about that mechanic. But if you have Queen Jan, you should probably learn the mechanic to avoid the damage. But basically this is it. Back to Phrolova. Not even strong helmet, but Bogwai. Bro, that can't stop him. But yeah, basically this. I don't know if this is better or not with Shorekeeper. No clue, honestly. And that's basically it. I never actually played this team, not gonna lie. I think this is maybe my second time playing this team. It's okay. But yeah. The next DPS we had was Lotta. Pretty much, in my opinion, the best premium team. With Lotta is Zani, of course. You can use, you know, Tauchi, Lumi, and Cantarella. But we all know that Zani is the best support for Lotta. Not much to say about this team. Pretty simple. In my eyes, this is still one of the strongest teams, as long as you know, build it. So, usually you wanna start with Lotta. So, you start with Lotta, you press her skill, right? You fill up half of her forte, not even half, then you switch back to Shorekeeper, then you do the Shorekeeper thingy, right? Fill half her Concerto, press Liberation, press Q, press E, and switch back to Zani, press Zani Liberation, fill up Zani Forte, right? Keep filling up, press E, hold the charge attack, then press E, and back to Lotta. Now press Lotta E again, when you press Lotta E, hold charge attack, and now press her Liberation, and now keep pressing Liberation key or press left mouse. I prefer Liberation key, then left mouse, and this is pretty much it. And after you're done with her Liberation, press skill once again and press Q for the eco, and just repeat the whole process again. This is pretty much the rotation of Lotta. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, not much to it. So again, get Shorekeeper, go to Zani, press Zani Liberation, fill up Zani Forte, press Zani skill, hold charge attack, press E 3 times, and back to Lotta. At Lotta, press her skill once, do the plunging, the attack, then hold the attack and press her Liberation. After you press her Liberation, press the Liberation key again, or hold, press the basic mouse or whatever you're using. And again, this is Lotta resistant floor, so the damage is not, there, but you get the rotations, right? Pretty straightforward, not much to it. I can show it again if you need to. I assume with Cantarella it's the same thing, so yeah, not much to say about Lotta. She's versatile, as I said. You can play Cantarella, Zani, Tauchi, and Lumi, right? Next DPS I can show on my account, since I can't show Camellia. We got Zani or Phoebe. I can first show Phoebe DPS. So for Phoebe DPS, of course Shorekeeper is the best, but you can use Verina, especially I think if you got S4, but I still think Shorekeeper is better. So Shorekeeper, Phoebe, and Shorekeeper Spectral. Now the thing is that Chikona actually would love to take this place here if you are fighting mobs. Now, what do I mean by that? For mobs, Chikona is better. So Whimpering Waste, Phoebe and Chikona gonna destroy it. If you're fighting a boss, Spectral Rover is better. The reason is simple. Spectral Rover gonna inflict more frazzle on the one target. Chikona gonna inflict Spectral Frazzle on the wide area, but slowly. Spectral Rover gonna do that like immediately, right? So I'm gonna change floors. Actually I can show you in the floors there is plenty of mobs, why Rover is not good with Phoebe that much. versus mobs, but versus bosses, this is the best team versus bosses, right? So, as usual, you wanna start with Shorekeeper. I hope by now you know how to use Shorekeeper. If not, I can explain in detail how Shorekeeper works. I mean, a lot of people don't even understand, I guess, Shorekeeper up to this day. My Spectre Rover is on the aerial set, because I can't bother. And switch to Shorekeeper, freeze the target, teleport and activate her yellow mode. Then you can use your Liberation to do big AoE damage. Her AoE is pretty big. Now the problem with here, as you can see, there is no frazzle on the enemy. This is the downside of the Spectre Rover, right? This is why you would prefer for mobs Chikona. As you can see, you can still clear it 100%. You know, it's not. I mean, I guess it is not a big deal as much. I don't know. You decide. Me personally, I still think Chikona is better for mobs. Rover is better for bosses. Now it all depends how you wanna use your Phoebe, right? And again, freeze the target, teleport, switch to the DPS mode. Blue mode is support, yellow mode is DPS for Phoebe. We all know that stuff, right? Right now we are playing DPS Phoebe. She's actually a really decent DPS, as I said. You just need a support for her. If you don't have a support for her, well, sucks to be you, right? So pretty much this is the rotation. As I said, this team works the best versus mobs, versus bosses, not versus mobs. So for mobs, you would prefer to have Chikona, basically. Now, since I don't have Chikona, I can't show you, but versus mobs, I can show you versus a boss. That why it's better. Because let me explain. So the team would be same: Shorekeeper, Phoebe, and Spectre Rover. So, the same stuff. Pay close attention to the stacking on top here on the bosses. The reason is simple why you would prefer to have Rover versus bosses. As you can see, so you always want to charge attack with Rover. We just apply to Spectre Frazzle, right? Now the boss is on 8 Spectre Frazzle dots. And we pretty much gonna apply 10. Right, now it's on 10, we're gonna freeze the boss, we're gonna teleport, we're gonna activate her yellow mode, and we're gonna do the nuke, right? And the boss is still on 10 frazzle. And this is why Rover is better than Chikona versus bosses, because the stacking is always gonna be on 10 when you start the Phoebe rotation. And with Chikona, you're not gonna see that. As you can see, the boss is pretty much melting, right? Keep in mind that this is not even DPS Spectre Rover, right? This is Spectre Rover on the Enemo set, but the thing here that's you know, worth remembering, that Spectre Rover applies a lot of frazzle. So on one target, Spectre Rover is better than Chikona, right? As you can keep seeing, 10 stacks on the boss, and that means that Phoebe can just keep DPSing. Now, the other team, let's now move on, I guess. The other team that Phoebe can use is pretty much, as we all know, Shorekeeper, Zani, and Shorekeeper. This is pretty premium team. This is team still that clears almost all content in the game. We all know that. This is pretty good team. Usually people on this team play Phoebe on the Moonlit to buff more of the Zani, but I think that's the incorrect choice, because Phoebe can still do some damage, right? Now, when I was testing Moonlit on Phoebe versus Eternal Radiance on Phoebe as a support Phoebe, the damage is actually pretty much here. Like, I would say that Eternal Radiance Phoebe does like 5% more damage over Moonlit on a support mode. That means that yes, you can actually go Phoebe on Moonlit to not lose any, you know, resources that much, because you're gonna be playing Phoebe in the blue mode. That means support mode. So then there is no need for you to farm her set, right? But me personally, I farmed it because, you know, Phoebe is cute, right? So, the same thing, you wanna start with the Shorekeeper. Get her Liberation. And switch to Phoebe. When you're at Phoebe, get into her blue mode. Use her Liberation at the start. And just do the 2 charge attacks on the enemy, and this should have Zani in the full mode to DPS, right? And this is pretty much it. And now we just do the Zani rotation, easy peasy, you don't need to think that much, just keep slapping your left mouse, she's just that good in this mode, right? And when you're done, you pretty much do the rotation again. This is pretty simple Hyper Zani. A lot of people play this team, Hyper Zani. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, really good in my opinion. As I said, still clears all of the content in the game. So still very good DPS, right? But keep in mind my Zani is S2, I'm not showing the damage, I'm showing the rotation of hyper carry. As you can see, my ER is always on spot unless I mess up hitting the boss or something. Keep that in mind. To play hyper carry teams, as I playing smoothly like this, you always wanna have a ER on point, and so you can do the rotation correctly. Now, the other team that people usually play in this with Zani is pretty much Rover, Spectro, Zani, and Phoebe as dual DPS, right? Anyway, let's start this team. As I said, I don't usually play this team. I don't like it that much, not really suiting my style. My style is usually playing hyper carry, that means starting from the support to sub DPS, then to main DPS. That's usually my playstyle, which I prefer the most. As I said, stats over quick swapping, and I think I'm correct. As long as you build your characters, playing as a main hyper carry, for me is the best way to go in this game. So again, start with the Rover. Keep in mind that this is not a correct build for the Rover, it's just for the testing. Switch to Phoebe and dual DPS, right? Not really something I would use, not gonna lie, I really don't like this team. I think it's pretty meh, but people praise it for some reason. I don't know. As you can see, I'm not really expert at this team. You pretty much wanna, you know, cancel animation, not cancel animation, just swap out of Zani hit, because that's, you know, she will still do the hit. You can pretty much swap out of a lot of Zani animations. Keep in mind that you always wanna reapply Frazzle on the enemy, which I'm not gonna lie, I keep forgetting, since I'm not used to this team. But as you can see, it is working, but not my forte. And apply the frazzle again on the boss. Even the parries you can cancel out, I mean swap out, it will play out still. Of course, that meaning if you actually hit the parry like this, it will still play out. I just don't like how Zani is eating all the frazzle, so Phoebe can't actually do properly here. But yeah, I don't like this team. You will need to learn, you know, everything about when you need to cancel, when you need to swap out. Really not my my stuff. The next team I can show on my account is Augusta and Iuno Team, which we all know is pretty much the best team in the game right now. I need my Iuno from here, so I'm gonna reset this. For Iuno and Augusta teams, it's pretty much Shorekeeper, as we all know. This is pretty straightforward, I would say, not much to it. Best team, yes. So, Shorekeeper, we wanna start with the Shorekeeper, as usual. And then you go to Iuno. What I like to do in this rotation is pretty much Iuno and Liberation immediately. So I just skip the whole process of enchant E, right? Then I press this, blah blah blah, double skill, blah blah blah, just do, you know, do some damage, then hold E, switch back to Augusta, start with the charge attack, press E, then do her Liberation, do another charge attack, get to her Griffin, do the Griffin, and press her Liberation hold, and this is pretty much the rotation of Augusta, right? Now, when you're done with this, you can smack the boss few times, blah blah blah, right? If you really want, I still got time. Bro, these flying bosses, I swear. And then do the rotation again, pretty much. There is one more way that people usually use with Iuno, is they don't start Iuno with Liberation, they start Iuno with her enchant skill, which is slower, right? This is for people who don't have enough ER. My Iuno got perfect ER, she doesn't need, you know, any stupid rotations. And pretty much same thing, start with the charge attack, press E, press her Liberation, press the Griffin, and enter her special Liberation, pretty much, right? And that's pretty much how you play Augusta, right? Pretty simple, as long as you have enough ER. Now, another thing that I wanna point out, you can play Augusta with Mortify. So the team is pretty much the same, but it is worse, right? Now, usually you play Mortify with Static Mist. Me personally, I don't care about this 10% attack, like it's 10%, I don't care. Usually people make a big deal about 10% attack, like it's the, you know, the next coming of Jesus, so you need to play on the Static Mist, and I always say Cadenza is faster rotation and you are stupid, right? So that's the reason I like to play on the Cadenza, cause faster rotation, I don't care about 10% attack, but you decide on your own how you wanna play your Mortify. Me personally, I prefer smoother rotation, right? I think DPS wins over damage. This is me always comparing DPS and damage. Sure, you want high damage, take Static Mist. You want smoother DPS, you take Cadenza. It's pretty much always the same thing. You can agree to disagree. It is what it is. So the rotations is pretty much the same. Anyway, same shit applies here, but not having Iuno, right? You wanna start with the Shorekeeper. and you switch to Mortifi. With Mortifi, I like to start with E, then I start with his Liberation, then I press another E, and then I farm another E. And switch out. Augusta, same thing, do her plunging attack, do her E, do her Liberation, do another plunging, I mean not plunging, the charge attack, then press her Griffin, and basically just enter her Liberation again. As you can see, the damage is way lower than Iuno. And again, the rotation is here. Back to Mortifi, he should have E ready, you press E again, you press Liberation, you press another E, and he should be ready, right? This is the reason why I don't like Static Mist, because with Cadenza it's pretty much a few seconds on the field and you're out to Augusta, right? Usually when I play Mortifi on other people's account, it takes me like 10 seconds to get his outro, because they all keep using Static Mist for that 10% attack buff, which is nonsense. But you know, if you wanna still keep doing Static Mist with Mortifi, that's your choice. As you can see, I'm pretty happy with Cadenza on Mortifi. Smooth as a butter. And boom. And that's pretty much all Augusta, right? Now, there is one team I will still play, is the Iuno. As we all know, Iuno was not supposed to be main DPS, but I can safely say that Kuro fucked up and they made Iuno too strong, right? They just made Iuno too strong. It is what it is. So, what a lot of people do is play Iuno main DPS. Even me, I like to play Iuno main DPS. So, Shopkeeper, Iuno. Now, you can use actually 3 characters here. It's Yinlin, it's Changli, or it is the Arrow Lady. Usually I take Arrow Lady, but you can play with Yinlin or you can play with Changli, right? The reason why I take Arrow Lady is pretty simple. My Arrow Lady is S2, so she got access to 2 skills, which I can pretty much get her outro pretty fast, and she got Makaroto on rank 3. I would prefer rank 5, but as we all know, I'm poor, so yeah, that's basically it. Now I'm gonna show you this rotation, which I think is pretty good. For the first rotation of Iuno Team, she will always be missing her main buff, which is the full moon. But that's the nature of this team, because you can't have the full moon when you need to get the outro to get her full moon, right? So on the first rotation you always miss like 40% of her damage. That's fine. When you play Iuno main DPS, you always wanna start with the enchant E, right? And when you spend 2 skills, you press Liberation to get more of her forte, and you just keep slapping, right? And now you just pretty much do the second rotation. I'm a little bit too early, like 2 seconds, but that's fine. And now I'm gonna enter the proper Iuno rotation, since she got the full moon buff, right? And now we are on the full damage of Iuno, pretty much. As you can see, she pretty much wrecks everything. She was not supposed to be this strong, but she's very strong, right? As you can see in the damage, she is absolutely killing this shit. So this is now the 3rd rotation, and she's still on the full moon. Again, this is pretty smooth, because my team is built, right? As long as you build your characters and your team, you will have smooth rotations like this. The damage is pretty high, like really high. And this is the end. And this is the Iuno main DPS. I will now show one rotation of Yilin, but it's pretty much the same stuff, alright? Shorekeeper, Iuno and Yilin. Yilin gonna provide some additional damage and liberation buff, that's about it. You can put your Yilin on the Moonlit if you wanna buff Iuno even more. But rotation should be the same. As I said, the first rotation Yilin plays without her full moon buff, because you need outro to trigger it. And again switch to Iuno, do have enchant skill, press space, press E twice. Ow, I fucked up that. And rotation. Back to Yilin. Break these wolves. I think they interrupted me, but it's fine. Back to Iuno. And basically just wreck the boss, right? As you can see, we are 1 minute in and we are already at half HP of the boss. So one more rotation and the boss is pretty much dead. This is electro resistant floors. I was supposed to pick floor 3, but I guess I fucked up. I picked floor 2. So Yilin is not doing her best here, but still, you know, providing support. And I fucked up, didn't get outro. There we go. And boom, this should be one dead boss. And we still got time left. Brant, Lupa, SK. Okay, so usually what I prefer in this rotation to play main DPS Brant is Shorekeeper, Brant and Lupa. Pretty standard. We all know that Lupa outro buffs basic, and we all know that Brant uses basic as a bonus multiplier, right? So even using Sanhua in place of Lupa will provide you some results. Rotation is again as usual. You wanna start with Shorekeeper, get her to half the Concerto energy. When you are at the half, you press her liberation, EQ and switch to Lupa, right? Lupa, press double press kill. Oh, I forgot to showcase Lupa main DPS though. And then you pretty much do the rotation and switch to Brant. When you switch to Brant, you wanna press his liberation and you just wanna stack up his forte, right? Stack up and press his skill. Make sure not to get out of his animation and just repeat the process, right? Just repeat the process. Make sure you always are quick because you wanna get to the Lupa enchant intro for the damage. That's really important. Otherwise you're gonna miss out on Lupa damage, then you're gonna complain on Twitter that Lupa doesn't do damage, but that's because you just can't play her, right? And again, Brant liberation, stack up his forte. Bro, Brant sucks. I just messed up his skill. Not cause he sucks. So I didn't get any damage out of Brant because I got interrupted. but I will continue my rotation.
Mi bombo!
Mi bombo. And take number 2 on Brant. Bro. There you go. Finally some damage. But yeah, pretty much like that. You can use Anchor here if you want to, but Lupa is the best option with the Brant main DPS. Pretty simple rotation as I showed. Start from Shorekeeper to Lupa, get her, Liberation, get her Heavy, switch to Brant, use Brant Liberation, get his Forte, then press his enchant skill, then go back to Shorekeeper and just repeat the process. Then that's how you get main DPS Brant. Pretty simple. Now there is one more team I can show. This is pretty much if your sequence is higher on Lupa, at least S3 main DPS, right? The best team here would be Shorekeeper, Lupa, main DPS, and Changli as a support, but I'm not gonna use Changli because reasons, because the enemy will just die in one hit. I'm gonna use Arrow Lady. Where is my Arrow Lady? Usually you would prefer to use Changli here because Changli buffs Liberation bonus. So same stuff again applies here. First run. Actually, you can actually start with Lupa here. Not gonna lie, you can just start with Lupa. This is S6 Lupa, so I got access to one more Forte than usual people got access to. And I just fucked up the rotation because the enemy was too far away. And now you wanna press Shorekeeper and you wanna start the rotation, right? And there we go. And that's how we play DPS Lupa. Pretty simple, right? I know, she's the best. You don't need to clap. You said nobody cares about Anchor? Same thing. And pretty much just wreck the boss. Not much to it, as you can see. On a 0 it's definitely not gonna behave like this, right? Absolutely not. As I said, for Lupa main DPS you would need at least S3, I would say. Maybe S2 would work, but I think S3 is, the point you wanna be at if you wanna play Lupa main DPS. The same things applies, to other sub DPSs like Bamboo Guy. Not Iuno though. Iuno is special case, as we know. Okay, how to get special intro on Lupa is pretty much the same how you get special intro on Shorekeeper. It's 3 intros like Shorekeeper. Yes, absolutely. So you just wanna get 3 intros. If you know how to get yellow field of liberation of Shorekeeper, that's pretty much how you get to the special intro of the Lupa. You want to get the outro out, right? So pretty much I'm gonna show it again, I guess, so you understand. So for this, as I said, you wanna start with Lupa to get her special intro, right? So that means you can start with Shorekeeper, get her 5 stack of Forte, charge attack, switch to Lupa. Now I'm gonna build up her Concerto energy, right? When I build up her Concerto energy, And now the timer start ticking on Lupa, 30 seconds. This is the timer to get Lupa special intro, right? And now I'm just gonna switch to Shorekeeper. And the clock is ticking, right? 30 seconds. Now this is the second outro. And now I'm gonna use the third one, right? And after I get the outro on the Arrow Lady, this next outro is called special intro, and this is how you achieve Lupa special intro. Just, you know, get 3 outros or 3 intros, whatever you wanna call them, right? So I started from Lupa. I fill up her concerto, then I switch to Shorekeeper, that counted as 1, right? Then I fill the Shorekeeper outro, and then I switch to Arrow Lady, that's counted as 2. Then I fill up her concerto here, right? And I switch to Lupa, and that's 3. And that's how you get the special intro, right?